Okay, it being 6:30, I'll call the meeting of the Oregon School District Board of Education to order. It's Monday, August 19th, 2019. We're at the Oregon School District Innovation Center at the high school. Could you call the roll, Ms. Heitz?
Ms. Feeney?
Present.
Ms. Oderico?
Here.
Ms. Flanagan?
Here.
Mr. Pankratz?
Here.
Ms. Bijak?
Here.
Mr. LeBrun?
Here.
Mr. Zach?
The board has a quorum and welcome, everybody. We haven't seen each other in a long time. We had a little summer vacation. Mr. LeBrun is still on summer vacation, it looks like. Yeah. So anyway, it's good to have everybody back. Today was new teacher orientation day, and the buildings are roaring with stuff, and so I think it's appropriate that the board, we're out of our summer respite, and we got a lot of work to do in the next couple months, so we'll move on with it. I've got proof that the meeting has been appropriately noticed under Wisconsin Open Meetings Law, and those documents will be with Ms. Heitz if anyone wants to inspect them. Our agenda tonight includes an action item, which is two of them, to approve the academic standards for the 2019-2020 school year, which we're required to do by law, and to approve our annual meeting agenda for 2 weeks, and then informational items. And then we have closed session. We have 3 items listed there, and we will not be returning to open session at the conclusion of that session. So I need a motion to approve the revised agenda as posted.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We have an agenda. First item on that agenda is the consent calendar. Item A, is there any item on the consent calendar that any board member wishes to remove? Seeing none, I would accept a motion to approve the items on the consent calendar. You will note that there are some additions to the staffing positions in the green, and then a retirement that came in yesterday. So those would be included within the scope of the motion. Yep, and donations, which I'll get to in a minute. Yep. So I need a motion to approve the items on the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. All those in, well, we have to do a roll call. We have contracts. So could you call the roll, Katie?
Mr. LeBrun?
Yes.
Ms. Bijak?
Yes.
Ms. Feeney? Ms. Oderico?
Yes.
Ms. Flanagan?
Yes.
Mr. Pankratz?
Yes.
Mr. Zach?
Yes, those items are approved, and I would note that amongst the approved items are 3 donations. One is from Avid Plumbing of $250 for RCI field trip scholarships for 10 students. Thank you. Donation from 1901 Inc. and $5,000 for the Oregon High School scoreboard. And then from the Friends of the Oregon School District, again, in the amount of a little under $2,500 for 2018-2019 Avid Tutors. We thank all of those folks for their generous donations to the district and for their support. That takes us to communication from the public. Item B, Board Policy 18004 has established the opportunity for the public to address the board. Is there anybody registered? No one's registered. Is there any member of the public here to speak? Once, twice, 3 times. We will move on to informational items, and we don't have an OEA report, I don't think, tonight. Brian and I have a leaders meeting the first Thursday in September. We've confirmed that meeting at 6:45 with the leadership group, so we'll be meeting with them. And Jim, we got our students on board for this next year?
Oh, yes.
Is it at some point? You and I will connect so that I can.
We've got 2 who are ready to go.
Terrific.
Figure out which semester each will.
Great. So when you get that figured out, will you email me so that we can set up a meeting, kind of bring them up to speed? Great. Thanks. Action items, 2019-2020 academic standards. And I don't know if that's Leslie. Yep. Hi, Leslie. Dr. Bergstrom, our Deputy Superintendent.
Good evening. Very similar to previous years. If you take a look at the purple here on the adoption of the 1920 academic standards, the only thing that has changed from the previous year is that we have adopted and are moving toward the alignment of the new Wisconsin Social Studies standards. They were just put out a year ago, and there's a 3-year adoption process that DPI recommends. So we spent our first year studying the standards and participating in professional development around the standards. And now we're just getting to the point of rewriting and realigning some of the curriculum. So that'll probably take us at least 2 more years.
Any board member have any questions of Dr. Bergstrom? Leslie, anything more for us as we consider this?
I don't
Tim.
believe so. Oh, yes.
I just have, are there any significant, wow, I'm surprised that's a change kind of thing?
Well, nothing I think that surprised us because they do a really great job of putting the standards out for public comment and such. However, this shift for social studies is a heavy emphasis on inquiry. Inquiry as a set of standards in and of itself that is supposed to be used throughout all grade levels. Now, a student in 2nd grade and a student in 11th grade would have very different inquiry experiences, but it's significantly less content specific and much more about helping kids think. And inquiry is one of the main methods to do so.
So can you just give me an example of that? I think I know what you're talking about, but if you could give me an example of that, it would be helpful.
Sure. So it would be more about creating an essential question related to something historical. And instead of just, of course, you would give kids foundational knowledge related to that essential question, but then they would go off and they would be able to do some age-appropriate exploring and research related to that question instead of just being told what everything is. I wish I had a better example waiting for you, but we're still in the very beginning process of writing it all. But we've been doing some professional development related to inquiry. We've done some really great stuff related to how to ensure that we are as inclusive in the perspectives that we are ensuring are a part of the kids' experience. So it's really taking a look at what we're doing with Fresh Eyes and then also adding in that inquiry component.
And again, that's not just social studies related. That is just a different teaching technique.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Next generation science standards are also very inquiry heavy. Inquiry is a strand throughout all of that too. So it's really developing the idea of critical thinkers and problem solvers through the inquiry process, regardless of the subject area.
And is that a new requirement, or is that just something that we have found to be particularly helpful in the learning process?
It's actually written into the standards now. Written into social studies and written into science. You bet.
Anybody else with any questions? Okay, and I understand once we approve this, this will be published on our school district website?
It is. The standards are accessible through Build Your Own Curriculum, which is accessible to parents from our website.
Great. So the motion that we're looking for is to approve the 2019-2020 academic standards as presented to you this evening. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll move to accept the academic standards as presented by Dr. Bergstrom.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Feeney with a second. Any further discussion from the board? Would you call the roll?
Ms. Oderico?
Yes.
Ms. Feeney?
Yes.
Ms. Flanagan?
Yes.
Mr. Pankratz?
Yes.
Ms. Bijak?
Yes.
Mr. LeBrun?
Yes.
Mr. Zak?
Yes, we have academic standards.
Thank you.
Well, at least approved, published ones this year. Annual meeting agenda. Our annual meeting will be held on 2 weeks from, in September 23rd. So we need to approve that in advance so that we have the requisite postings for that. So, Brian, any comments?
Yes, real quickly, board members, you can see this is our standard annual meeting agenda format. It's broken into 2 sections. First, the budget hearing, and Andy will walk through the financial report, provide a quick update on the audit statement, and then we'll actually have what's called the budget hearing, giving electors an opportunity to ask questions. Then secondarily, the annual meeting, which is separate but published on the same agenda. And again, this is standard based on Wisconsin state statute, but you'll notice item 8D, which is petition for board reapportionment. That was the board task force that you approved, and we had several former board presidents on that task force to review apportionment. They brought a recommendation to the board, which the board, I'll say tentatively approved, and now that recommendation will be brought to the annual meeting, which will redistribute over time board seats in the community. That's an item that's required to be done at the annual meeting, so we put that under new business item D. I skipped over the other new business items, but I know most of you have seen this before. There's always adoption of the tax levy, so Andy will address that. There's adoption of school board salaries for 1920, and then there's set date and hour for the 2020 annual meeting. So if you have any questions, Gina, Katie, and I put this together. We are happy to respond. Gina, did I miss anything? So we're looking for a motion to approve.
Yep. And just on the petition for board reapportionment, that's contingent on us filing petitions with 100 signatures to get that before the annual meeting. So we have to have those in on Friday, right? So Friday is our deadline. I have 36. Well, and I did it. I mean, it took me probably an hour to get 36. So it's you just have to ask. So I have at your sheet or at your place a couple sheets. So if you could get signatures, that would help out. And I'll check in with you Wednesday to see how you're doing, so that if we have to push on Thursday, we can do that. So, and then there's a sheet floating around in the audience for all you district residents. If you want to sign that, you're not compelled to, but if you would like to, then I would verify that for you. So, good. Any questions on that? All right. We would need a motion to approve the agenda for the annual meeting, which will occur on September 23rd, 2019 at 6:30 here at the Innovation Center. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
There's a second?
Second.
Motion and a second on the table. Any further conversation? All those in favor of the agenda as identified in our packet signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we have an agenda, and Katie will get that published pursuant to state statute, and we will get our 100 signatures in on Thursday. That's my goal. Got it. Informational items, school naming process. Erica, I believe that's your item. Okay, if you'd step forward.
Just a couple of quick comments before Erica walks you through our planning process for the naming of the 4th elementary school in the Oregon School District. You might recall on Monday, May 13th, our May school board meeting, we brought to you sort of our background information and our thoughts in terms of the naming of the new school. And now we have some details because we are ready to launch the public naming process, and all of you can participate in that process, and you have a special role in that process in October, which will be October 14th, when the board selects 2 to 5 names to allow our students in the district to vote on and name the new school. And I will turn it over to Erica to give a quick report, and then I have a document that I'll hand out for you as well.
Great. Hello. So I know that you all had some information in your packets about this, but I wanted to run through our timeline and our process and certainly answer any questions that you have. Go ahead, Andy. So this is just the overall timeline. We plan to begin or open the submission process on August 28th, and that process will be both electronic, and there will also be a paper version, and that's what Brian has that he'll be passing around. We'd like to leave it open for a month to give people plenty of time to think of their ideas, think about considerations, and submit the names that they would like to share with us. We would bring those names, compile them, bring them back on October 14th and have you all select up to 5 finalist names. And then, super fun part, the students get to vote on the final names. And then we would finalize the vote based on the votes after that. That is our overall process. There are on your sheets some criteria for consideration. Andy, if you want to go to the one past. Yep. And one more. Oh, that's okay. There you go. So these are the suggested criteria for consideration that we'd like to put out there for submitting a name. I'll just walk through them real quick. Of course, aligning with our mission, adhering to the school board policy on naming, representing the geographical area in which it's located, enduring over time without controversy, not being confused with other names that are near us in other areas, translates well in other languages, lends itself to an appropriate acronym, and is easily pronounced by elementary school students. And these are criteria that
We tried to think of every possibility because we live in a very, very creative community.
So those are listed on the sheet that you have in front of you. What you have in front of you is the paper form that would be available at the district office and at all of our schools. And people would just simply be asked to take a look at the criteria, fill out the form, and give it back to us.
Any questions of Erica regarding the process or the criteria? One question I had is, are we going to reach out specially to Fitchburg, either the chamber or their government, to solicit in particular their feedback?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be good since it's cited up there. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a couple of comments. Just, do we know what the address is of the new school?
Yes.
That's a good question, Andy.
4747 Brassica.
So I don't know if it would be helpful to include any additional information on the flyer as to the location, like a map that we've shown of where it is, or the name of the subdivision it's in, or the address of the school, just to help people start thinking of different things. And the question that came to my mind when I was reading about this in the packet is, what's the history of the naming of the other schools in our district? And I wasn't sure where I could find that, and I thought that might help me think through what I might think about for the new school. So I don't know if we could put on the online site a little blurb about how the naming, if what the significance is of the other school names, if we know it, and help just spur people's thought processes about the new school.
That is a fantastic idea, and we can certainly put that on our online website.
Awesome.
This process is pretty similar to what we did when we built Rome Corners, and that lent itself to a historical context. Because Oregon was originally Rome Corners, named Oregon. Yeah, and so that took its moniker from that. And Netherwood is named after Perry Netherwood, who was one of the original settlers in the Oregon area. And Prairie View, I'm not quite sure how it got there. Yeah. High school and middle school in Brooklyn are pretty self-evident, but the other ones, Rome Corners is the one that comes to mind because this was the process there, and that worked out really well, and it's a cool name for the area. So,
Yeah.
Will it be a Madison address or a Fitchburg address? Is there such a thing as an official Fitchburg address?
It's complicated. Fitchburg does not have a U.S. Postal Service office, so you address things to Madison with a 53711 zip code. But if you put Fitchburg and 53711, it will still be delivered to that location. So it's kind of confusing. You could put either. Well, I would defer to Phil Speum and see if there's make sure there's not some sort of agreement in Terra Vesa. But I believe you could put Fitchburg. That's my understanding.
Tim, I will share my understanding, and it would say Fitchburg, Wisconsin on the school district address, but we can double check. Oddly enough, sometimes I have a Fitchburg address living in the town of Oregon, close to you, where if you order something online and you put You put in 53575, and I'm forgetting if we're 2816, it will come up as Fitchburg. That makes no sense to me. But I'm not going to argue with the computer because I want Amazon to deliver it.
They're everywhere, yeah. And if you address it 1313 Mockingbird Lane, you know where that goes, right? Yeah. Only the old people get that one. Troy is too young. Yeah. I'll explain it to you later. Okay. Any other questions? Then we would, anything else there, guys? Sorry.
No.
This looks
no.
like a really good
Just
process.
an informational report. I can keep going with the next item. It's 2019 District Resource Days.
Gotta approve this. Oh, that's right, it is.
Item number 2, 2019 District Resource Days. That's our former district registration. And one of the big draws for district registration was taking photographs of our students. We have now decentralized that to all the buildings because that's the preference. And we retitled from district registration to district resource. It was last Thursday. We held a segment during the day, and I will say it was very low turnout because parents can also get information off of the website, and we may be at a point where district registration, district resource days may have outlived itself. We have another event tomorrow scheduled from 4 to 8 p.m. We're not sure if that afternoon event will generate more students and parents, but at the conclusion, we'll do an evaluation. And I love district registration days because it was a great opportunity to connect with parents and with students, but we may be in the digital age now where that has just run its course. So we'll report back at our next board meeting after we've had our second day.
Yeah, the one thing to consider would be those folks who don't have internet access and don't have the capacity to register will still need some component of that.
Yes, we're looking at alternatives to make sure that from an equity standpoint, we haven't created a gap for families or a gap for kids. So we're reaching out individually with those families.
Okay. And then when you get through with the last session, when's it scheduled, this week or next week?
Yes, tomorrow afternoon, Katie, 4 to 8.
Would you in the in-betweener kind of give us a guess where we might be at in terms of our student census? I mean, I know it's not going to be a finalized, but whether we think we're tracking or not based on our budget.
Yeah, we can give you a projection.
Okay. Cool. Any questions on resource days? All right. Anna, and Troy, you still have kids, and did you guys do it online or come in person or waiting? Online?
On my to-do list online.
Okay, cool. And did you find it pretty easy to walk through online?
Yeah, I mean, like Brian said, since the photos aren't going to be at the registration day, there really was no reason for us to come in.
Cool. All right. Opening of 2019-20 school year.
A couple of quick things. First, this afternoon, if you checked your school board email, you saw the back to school welcome newsletter, and I specifically, that's not late, it's actually on time. I try to send that out the week before everyone reports back to school. And the reason for that is the moment our staff get that in the mail, there's a little reaction because it means school is right around the corner. So I try not to send that out in July, and I try not to send it out in early August. I was joking today at the new teacher orientation. My wife's school district has a new superintendent, and he is super excited, and he sent it out at the end of July. And I know him well, so when I see him at a Badger conference meeting coming up, I'll have a little chit chat with him about that because it was feedback that I received. I used to send it out early, and staff members in Oregon preferred to receive it a little later. So that's off and running. Again, today was new teacher orientation, and this is the first of 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we started this morning's session. Steve and I, for a couple of years now, have been making a vision, mission, and belief presentation to all of our school staff, and we started that this morning. That was followed with a community scavenger hunt to give our new staff members a sense of, well, we always talk about our district being 81 square miles and being rather long and narrow, so they had an opportunity to visit schools and visit historical sites within the school. Sometimes the historical sites are not too old, like Froyo. That's a recent historical site. And then this afternoon, then we had lunch with our new staff members, and we wrapped up with some technology work because everyone wants access to their email account and getting everything set. Over the next couple of days, tomorrow, staff will be spending time at the school, at their school building, and also doing some curriculum work. And then on Wednesday morning, we'll look at district initiatives, and Leslie and John will share information on that. Gina will spend some time with staff on our walking through the OSD handbook, and she always has a clever game with prizes, which seems to be quite a favorite. And then we'll do a question and answer session with a new educator panel. And then on Thursday, we'll talk about job description and educator effectiveness. And then one of the favorites that Leslie started last year or the year before, is this year 2? This is year 3. We'll have a student panel. And that student panel from 11:45 to 12:30 will speak to the new teachers. And the students are set right up front here, and they get an opportunity. We give them 3-4 prompts, and they get to share their view of their educational experience here in Oregon. And it has been, if you have free time, which I know you don't have very much free time, if you had free time on Thursday, 11:45 to 12:30, you will walk away with your spirit lifted by our students talking to our new teachers. Then next week is our Teacher In-Service Day. A few years ago, we decided the best way to start the school year was to start at the building level. So all staff will report on Tuesday at their building level, spend the entire day in a building in-service, and then Wednesday morning, we'll have our all-district-wide in-service from 8 o'clock until 9:30. Of course, all of you are welcome to join us. It will be in the new gymnasium, and then that will be followed by continued professional development throughout the day. And then teachers and school year staff will be off Thursday and Friday, and getting all full of energy for the first day, which is Tuesday, September 3rd. So we're excited about opening a new school year once again. And as I've talked to a few parents in the community, I think everyone knows it's time to go back to school. So that's an exciting time for us. I'll answer any questions that you have about that.
Superintendent's report.
I gave you a couple of items, but first, since our last meeting, we have completed 2019 summer school. And this year we had over 2,000 students participate. That has really tracked at a similar level. Some year it's maybe just a bit under 2,000. This year I think we were right around 2,100 students in our 6-week program. And summer school is just very well received by our community, our parents, and our teachers. This afternoon we had this was odd to do it today, but it was the one day we could catch all administrators because the tech department was working with our new teachers. We had a manifestation determination workshop. We met with a local attorney, Tess O'Brien, and she walked us through the law for manifestation determinations, and we are all prepped and reworked on the law, and she did an outstanding job in an hour-and-a-half section. I've already mentioned the new teacher orientation next week. I don't know if you caught this on any of your WASB feeds, but it caught my eye. I know you're familiar with Senator Luther Olson, and he wrote an opinion column along with another legislator, I think from the East Coast, And his message was, states must take the lead to make education policy a bipartisan priority. I was delighted when I read the headline, so I read the entire article. Luther has been a friend of public education for a number of years and has been very supportive of school funding initiatives, and I appreciated reading that. It lifted my spirits. And then lastly, as I was walking up to the high school tonight before the board meeting, I had the opportunity to visit with two freshman young ladies who were on the cross-country team, and they were waiting for their parents to pick them up, and I asked them what sport they were involved in and if they were looking forward to the school, and they used this important word twice. They said, I love school, I'm really looking forward to school starting, and I love cross-country. And I thought that's exactly what we want to hear from our students. So I didn't know these young ladies. They hopped in the car because their parents came up real quick, and I thought, I'm going to hold on to that thought because it was very heartwarming. So that concludes my report, unless you have any questions for me.
That ends our informational items. That takes us to closing future agenda. Brian and I were talking today about 2 weeks. We don't think we have anything pressing for 2 weeks, and so unless you guys really want to meet in 2 weeks, we would cancel that meeting and just meet that second Monday in September. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, next.
Yeah, we're not going to meet next week. Yep. That's right. We bumped this one back. Sorry. It was kind of a factor. We got stuff on that we needed to because we had bumped this back a week. But so we would not have a meeting next week. Well, we would have one then. Yeah. I gotta get. We would do the 9th of September, so three weeks from now. Okay with everybody? As usual, if you have, we've developed the calendar so you can look on that to see what standard items are going to be coming up at that meeting. But if you have anything you want on the agenda, let me know. Troy?
Yes, Steve, regarding that calendar, in July, we were to have a pool usage discussion that we did not have. So can we push that to a future meeting? Just don't want to lose sight of that.
Terrific. I'll make a note of that. Anybody with anything else? Okay, that's the agenda. That takes us to checkout. Courtney? You had a good ride. You
Had a good ride.
Yep. Courtney every year rides 100 miles for juvenile diabetes, and you made it again this year.
Yes, and if I can raise $4,000, I could do a second one this season. So if anyone who has $4,000 that they want to donate to JRF, I'll go ride in Death Valley 100 miles.
Oh, really? Really? Okay, that's worth throwing some money at you. Yeah, there you go. I want to hear that. Hi, Troy. How's your summer been? Good. A lot of time with the kids? Good.
Speaking of 100, I got to celebrate my grandfather's 100th birthday yesterday. So
That's really good.
That's
really fun, really exciting.
Good.
And he
Anna?
just had a birthday.
Nothing to report.
Okay, Barb. Tim?
I came from the Athletic Boosters golf outing this afternoon. It was a gorgeous day, of course, and it was very well attended. They had maxed out attendance, and then they had 2 more foursomes come beyond that. And so we have lots of support, obviously, for the athletic programs in our community. And so it was seemed to be a very well attended and lots of people who we've seen support the Oregon School District in the past, and lots of new names. So it was very well attended.
Well, that was a shift. That's kind of a risk. They moved from a Sunday that
Yes.
had been really well attended to a Monday
Yes.
afternoon. So
Exactly.
That's good to hear that
And
it
it
was
also
well
moved, the venue moved as well.
Right.
And so it was perfectly handled. Went very well.
Wonderful. Krista, anything? Couple things to jump on Brian's conversation about meeting the young cross-country runners this summer. three things popped into my mind the other day was, actually yesterday, it was one of those hot July days when it was like 900 degrees outside and humid, and it was a Friday afternoon, and I was taking my dog for a walk before we went out to eat, and there was this young guy, football player, obviously working out in the field over by the ice rink all by himself. It's like really hot, and he was just working really hard on his conditioning thing. And then Sunday afternoons, I would take the dog over here again and go to the track, and there were always these two young ladies on the tennis team working out like mid-afternoon on Sundays. And then there was one young man that we saw that we know is on the cross-country team, and we always saw him out running and training really extra special hard. And I ran into him yesterday afternoon and congratulated him on a summer of good work, and will be interesting to watch that pay off for him. It just goes to show you that our young kids are really intrinsically motivated in things that really interest them and go well above and beyond. And so we see that in sports, and that's where we want to head in terms of our educational philosophy as well, that those kids are motivated to do relevant things for themselves, like we see visibly sometimes in the public with sports. So that struck my mind. I had the opportunity to be at the staff lunch. I talked with Brian this morning to the new teachers, but I had a chance to be at the staff lunch for a little bit and got to introduce myself to them at their tables. What an amazing group. Just totally amazing, learning their background and experiences. We only have like really 4 brand new newbies, I think. Leslie, is that 7 newbies? But holy cow, what an experienced, deep group coming with a wealth of experience into our district. So it was good to see them and their enthusiasm for their district and their eagerness to be here. So that was good to see. And then lastly, I bring thank you from the Oregon Straw Hat players to the district, to Andy and to Jim and to all the staff that make that production possible for them, the dedication of our backstage space and the stage during the school year. They really appreciate it. They don't take that for granted. They know it's a luxury that they have, and it was a tremendous production. I mean, it was off the charts, really, really good production. And we hired as a district someone to run the PAC by the name of Nate Mendel, who is unbelievable. I mean, that auditorium sounds like you've never heard it before. We've complained about the sound in there, and he says it's really one of the better acoustic theaters in the county, and he has the equipment to play with it, and he knows how to play with it. And he did an amazing job. And in addition to that, he's just really excited about the possibility of that PAC being used for more events. So he's got a 3-part series where he's bringing nationwide performers in there. I'll bring some of the stuff, and Nate kind of wanted Spot on the agenda, the first meeting in September, to come and talk about kind of what he's doing in the PAC and about the sound, and to thank us for providing him with equipment that makes that a really, really great theater. So I know I saw Tim there. It was just an off-the-chart production. Yeah, it was really good. So, but they really thank the district for being able to use that theater. It's a good community asset, and they really drew well as well. That's all I had. That takes us to closed session. We're going to be adjourning to closed session under 1985 1E to discuss the negotiation of potential land, our collective bargaining agreement with the OEA, and about discussions with the Village of Oregon about our school resource officer. So about 5 minutes, we'll adjourn in the side room. We will not be coming into open session after that. Thanks, everyone. Have a great kickoff to the start of school, and board members, will see you back in open session in September.